Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Today is Wednesday, May 15th, 2019, and this is our Team Prosperity Wednesday meeting. I appreciate everybody being here. I know how valuable your time is, and I also appreciate everybody that's taking the time to listen to the recording. I'm very excited to see what kind of presentation Mike has put together for us. What I have is just a few announcements, so we'll go ahead and jump right into it. Let me pull up my presentation with my announcements and just got a few things to go over. The first thing that I want to talk about is building a persona and becoming an influencer, not trying to adapt to the energy that's already going on, but being somebody that people want to follow, creating a presence that people want to be around. And I think that, we've been talking about this a lot in the last few weeks. And I know we're going to keep talking about this, about, how to build the right presence online and how to become an influencer, somebody that people want to follow, which I believe, is extremely important. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Another thing that I wanted to bring up is as we're building relationships, even on things like LinkedIn, we're going to stick in people's minds. So make sure that you're approachable. Make sure that people know that they can give you referrals, that they can circle back around in case they have interest. Here's a text message that I got a few days ago and actually had to struggle to figure out who this person was. They gave me the referral, so I actually just picked up the phone and called him. And he said, hey, this is Kevin. And I'm like, hey, Kevin, And he said that we had such a nice conversation that he's still doing things brick and mortar, but he ran into somebody that was interested in doing things virtually, and I've got a follow-up call with her, today. She's watching the videos last night. So you just never know. You're making connections and you're establishing yourself as somebody that people actually want to reach back to. So very important to stay approachable and to let people know that it's okay to circle back around with you. Wow, there's a big misspelling there, but you all kind of get the gist. I wanted to do a few CRM basic trainings, but on last Saturday's company training, Mike Hinsberg actually did a really great job on doing some overall CRM training. So if you missed it, I would say catch the recording. He did it right in the beginning of the Saturday training. So if you or somebody on your team is brand new and you want a little tutorial about the CRM, he did a really great job on this last Saturday. So definitely check that out. That's going to be a must-see for the CRM. Another thing that I want you all to kind of know about is when you build like a Facebook page or something like that, you're going to constantly get weekly updates about how your posts are doing, how your engagements are doing, how many likes you have. This is a pretty pathetic week, but I'm working on getting better and better. Like everybody, I'm just a work in progress. I'm trying to, get these numbers to improve every single week. So I just wanted to show you, what mine look like for this week. And another great thing that we've got coming up next week, May 22nd, Transamerica is going to be doing their own training. They've reached out to me to see who was in charge of the Clemens office. And when I told them that we're virtual, they were extremely excited for us to meet Eric Hand, who's a virtual wholesaler. And they're going to be doing some training on the new annuities as well as several other topics for the life side. So we're very excited to have that training. It's going to be at the same time as this training. They're supposed to be able to get into our pre-conference call here, so that's going to be very exciting. Also, I've been talking with Julie, who's our Crump representative. She's also going to be scheduling a training to go over some of the new changes in annuities as well as some great things going on through Crump. So we're waiting on that time and date confirmation. As soon as we have it, we'll let you know. Another thing that you've noticed is if somebody gets, pushed out for whatever reason, affiliation fees or anything like that, very easy to reinstate back on the platform. Everybody's getting messages like these. So if anybody needs me to send this to them, I can. It came out on the last WFG meeting. Also Legacy Shield, a big part of what's, part of our all access fee is having this free access to this Legacy Shield, which is a $99 a month value, which is really amazing. So I really encourage everybody to set up their own Legacy Shield plan. There's a bunch of workshops that they're doing pretty much every single day about how to get it done. If you need me to send this to you with a list of the workshops, I'd be happy to do that. I'll also make sure that it's posted in our Facebook group so everybody has that. Next thing I wanted to talk about is the VIP Green Carpet Day. You know, every single month this is going on at the WealthWave main office. We're going to be attending the July 19th and 20th. It's going to be a great time to, you know, get together and have some fun. So as this time approaches, we're going to, you know, get you more and more information about it. And me and Mike are planning to be there. So hoping to see everybody there. And that's pretty much what I have. Here's a meme that I put out this week. Positive mind, positive vibes, positive life. It's so true. You know, you create your own reality, so make it a good one. And of course, I'm a strong believer of being at the right place at the right time. So thanks you all for being here with us at the right place at the right time. I'm going to go ahead and grab Mike. Can't wait for his presentation. Give me just 1 second.
All right, everybody. Hope you're doing well today. It is already the middle of May, so we're kind of cruising through this year. I hope you're doing well. If things aren't materializing up to this point like you thought or hoped they would, it's really about going back and reevaluating about what you're doing, what results they're getting, or lack of results, and kind of going back to the drawing board. If you understand your numbers, if you understand what you're doing, if you understand your target audience and the message, we should be able to develop some marketing campaigns that talk specifically to those types of people. And that's what we're going to be working on going forward. Really, when you look at your business, one of the things you have to understand if you're brand new or if you are managing people, communication is very, very important, whether it's communication with the client, the partner, people within the assembly line. Make sure that you are in a mindset where you're communicating with the appropriate people. We're not in an office setting, so it's very important that in a virtual world, there's a connection. Connection comes through being on the meetings, comes through the interaction with us, but it also comes from communication from the top line down. So if you're managing people, make sure that you're open, available, make sure you're communicating, and if they're at different places in the business, that you're appropriately dealing with them at that particular place in the business. It's the small victories, and this kind of goes on what we were just talking about. If you've got a new person that's brand new, and that's you, celebrate the small victories. If it's getting the test passed, if it's creating your first lead, no matter what those are, it's a stepping stone process to get us to a place at the end where we've taken a lot of small victories that add up to one giant victory. And then on the management side, if you got new people in, make sure you take time to celebrate the small victories with them. Small victories are significant, especially in the beginning. It gets them excited about work and the process. There are a lot of changes going on within this platform that are ending up being very advantageous for our business model. David Chase did an excellent presentation coming from Cabo last Saturday about changes and the changes that we have to make within ourselves to make sure that we stay adapting to the marketplace, adapting to the environment, and making sure that we're, coming out head and shoulders above some other people, not just in this industry, but as other industries. But you also have to recognize and capitalize on the changes that are happening around you as well. And one of those, and this is something on my vision board, this is to get to executive vice chairman, you need 9 base shops or offices, and you need $2.25 million in net points. So let's take a look at that. So you're talking about $2.25 million rolling 12 months. If you've got 9 direct base shops, that's $250,000 per base shop. $250,000 divided by 12 is about an average of $21,000 per base shop. That you can calculate this a number of ways, but if you go an average of $250 per policy, that's 7 policies average per month per base shop. Now, the other requirement to get there has just been eliminated. You needed a securities license as you start to get up to some of these top levels to participate in some of those bonus pools, to participate in the development going forward, that has been stripped off. You no longer need a securities license to get to some of these top pools, to get to these top contract levels. It's wide open. With the life insurance license that you possess right now, you can go to the top of this company. So wide open, guys, and this is not something that's pie in the sky numbers. When you look at that, say, oh, that's impossible. I'll never be able to do that. It's going to take some time, but what we're looking at here with our model and the great advantages that we have with the digital approach, going out and be able to open conversations, build across the country, we should be able to dominate this platform in the coming years. Also, if you are new or if you're a manager, don't forget about the Virtual Financial University. Partners need to complete a phase 1 exchange, doesn't matter, standard, fast track, and they need to participate in their own launch campaign. If they do that, then the Virtual Financial University takes a partner through every single tier, explaining the inner mechanics of each of those tiers to help them both learn and build the business and to create the nationwide digital agencies. So this helps both sides. If you're new, you can go into the Virtual Financial University and watch a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, whatever you want, as many times, stop it, take notes. It's also got some great additional information in there besides just the tiers. And if you're a manager, you can point people over there, and now your day is not spent going through things continuously. They're on an automated, recorded university version. It works out well for both sides. So make sure that if your partners have done what they need to do, complete the phase 1 exchange and launch their own or participate in their own launch campaign, they have access to this. The quicker that you get your organization and your people in your organization learning each one of these tiers, the quicker it's going to create that independence, which will allow them to go out and do this on their own, which gets everybody to their personal organizational goals a lot quicker. If you don't get serious about your money, you'll never have serious money. Same thing about the business. If you don't get serious about your business, you're not going to have a serious business. If you treat this like a part-time hobby, you're going to have part-time hobby results. If you treat this like a real business that deserves the attention it needs and deserves, then you're going to get those type of returns out of it. So don't forget, commitment is not about an hourly. It's not full-time or part-time. Commitment is what you're doing with those hours and how serious you actually are about this business. Activity and ownership, that's really the 1-2 combination punch of what we do on the front side mixed in with some education. That's going to separate you from the crowd. It's going to take a level of discipline. Do we have it? Do your partners have it? That's going to be found out as we go forward. Are you prepared to make the necessary changes and sacrifices to be ultra successful? In the beginning, guys, this business is going to take some work. At the end point, your exit strategy, presumably you're not going to have to do anything. You've got a cash flow asset that pays you for decades to come. That doesn't happen overnight, and it's not going to be without some sacrifice, level of discipline, changes that you need to make. Remember, we're always talking about the business and you personally. If you can develop a business system with a personal system, time management, self-discipline, then you can create an amazing business here that has unlimited potential. We're into the 12-week period right now, 12-week year. We're coming up on week 5. All of this is helping us do is leveraging the power of repetition to keep yourself motivated to realize your visions. Remember, we talk about this all the time. The brain is going to love habit. Whether we're hitting the crack pipe or whether we're, hitting this business with activity, it's going to continue to want to go down that same path. So you have the ability to strengthen and develop your brain by thinking about a compelling future that you actually want and you feel for yourself. By regularly and repeating, thinking about inspiring vision where you emotionally connect with the life you desire. What do you want out of this? If the partner does not understand what they actually want out of this process, it's going to be hard to find the motivation. And you need to review that vision all the time. The vision is going to give you the motivation that drives execution on the back end. It's really all about just setting up a threefold process. You have your goals, you have the tactics that you think they're going to get you to the goals, and you have your action steps. It's just a better picture of what you should do on a day-to-day basis. So when we go into a day and we're not sure what we're going to do in that day, day is already a failure. And when you look at business in general and how people approach self-employment, business ownership, building, whatever it is they're doing, a lot of people have no idea on a day-to-day basis what they should be doing, and that causes people to drift and eventually lose sight of everything. And when you're thinking about goals, just kind of forecast, how is your life going to be different if you actually accomplish these goals? This will keep you going through the tough times. There's going to be tough times here. You're going to have some really great days, some really bad days. But if you get too involved with the day-to-day, being in the trenches of this, it becomes a tiresome journey. If you realize that on a day-to-day basis that you're just making steps forward, it becomes a lot easier to get through this process. 5 common mistakes. Number 1, can't change everything in your life all at once. If you do, you're just going to shut down. Not having a strong enough why. And that goes back to my first problems with the 12-week year. I didn't have strong enough why. So that's very important. Not tracking your actions, focusing too much on lag measures. Remember, leading indicators, activity, what can I do today? And then going at it alone. So I don't bring this stuff up in the Wednesday meetings just for the people that are involved in the 12-week year right now. This is also for you guys thinking about joining in the future, or just looking at your daily activity and thinking about, what do I do? How do I do it? How do I get myself organized? Because that's probably the biggest obstacle for a lot of people that are going to come in your organization, is a defined plan of action, effective time management, and then that will start to fill up activity, which leads to calendar activity. And remember, we always talk about, if you go to your calendar and it's painted blue with new activity, great, you're going to be entrenched in this business. If you go to your calendar and there's a bunch of white space there, it's going to cause you to drift over time. So in the beginning, even if it's just remedial, mundane tasks that you need to do, start putting some stuff on your calendar so you feel like things are filling up and moving in a positive direction. Your 12-week goals, guys, which is stuff that should be directly driving business activity, and some of that stuff should be, fairly uncomfortable. You also should have some other goals, marketing plan, connections, all of these other things that you want to get done on a daily basis. The more things that you plan out, schedule, and ultimately in the end can automate, the better and easier this is going to become for you. And remember, we're always talking about creating something for you that's a better experience than I had, that we can create a better experience for the people coming in after you. If you package up a business deal with a personal self-development deal, with a marketing deal, we can get all this stuff in front of somebody. It's going to separate people very quickly from those that are willing to put forth the effort versus those that are not. And then it's easy for you as a person, as a manager, to invest that time, energy, resources behind the people that actually deserve it. And no matter what we're doing, no matter what we're thinking about, it should always be about income-producing activities. What do you have planned for the next week for income-producing activities? So a lot of the stuff we do is necessary. It's called activity, but you have to separate your activity, income-producing versus regular activity, and make sure you're giving enough effort on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis to the things that are going to return what you're looking for. Revenue, income in your pocket, organizational growth. So if you get serious about the rest of this year, whether it's a 12-week year, the rest of this calendar year, and this opportunity, this is a very big chance to do something on a very large scale. And if your partners understand that, it's worth, working towards. If they don't understand the enormity of this opportunity, it's not motivating enough. And that's where the filters on the front side try to get rid of the people who, don't see this. Because if you don't see this, that's one thing. If you do see this, you have our vision, but you're not excited about it, and you don't feel it with emotion, that's another filter as well. So we want to make sure that people have the right vision. They want to make sure they have the right background or work ethic that fits in the profile. We want to make sure they're excited about getting this done. So when you talk to somebody about this, what do you want out of this? That's where it kind of gets, them thinking, what would I do if financial freedom was there? I didn't have to worry about earning money for this or that. What would I do with my life? That's really where the vision and ultimately the why comes in. There's no downside to competition from within. Whether you hear people from other teams in this company that are doing well, or you hear people within our organization doing well, jealousy should never creep in, but there should be a spirit of competition that creeps in. You don't want to get left behind. You want to keep up, and you want to set the pace, and you want to be at the top of that leaderboard when this business really starts to blow up in the coming months, leading into the next 48, 60 months, which in my opinion is going to be the biggest growth cycle for this company, where when you put in your roots and the explosion happens. I was talking to a partner yesterday. You want to look at this as a digital land grab right now and put in as many roots as possible. So as this thing does hit the inflection point and blow up, you've got, offices across that start to grow and grow and grow. And guess what? When you look at a scaling opportunity, you're not going to have to back that up with new expenses, which is really nice. You're a business. As an entrepreneur, you are the business. So if there's something wrong with it, you can't just rely on other people to fix it. It's not like a corporate structure where you're getting a paycheck as a W-2 mentality, and regardless of what's going on in the bottom line, the board will fix it, the management will fix it, I'll split a paycheck up until they didn't fix it, recession hits, and I'm fired. Well, here, it's up to you. You've got to fix the things that are going on within your business or within you personally that are causing roadblocks or obstacles. So remember, you're it. Eventually, your initial spark that created this business venture with you coming in, you initiating the work, will eventually be a free-flowing organization coast to coast with nationwide distribution of financial services. But in the beginning, if there's a problem, you got to fix them. You should be growing. If your business is contracting, that's a problem. You should always be growing, especially with a digital model like this. There should be nothing but growth going on, and from that growth, everything filters through to get you and your partners, where you ultimately want to go. So you always should be growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not expanding, you're contracting. And really that comes from a large, different way, that comes from different ways that you can look at it. But really the key is to keep educating yourself. And that's really social media. We have to get better. We have to get better at recruiting and headhunting. We have to get better at marketing. We have to keep up with industry news. We have to get better at self-improvement. We have to get better at management. Managing people is something that is an ongoing learning skill. Dealing with people is an art form. Closing sales and overall what's going on in virtual financial. If you keep educating yourself, you keep having activity and being accountable to that activity, you're going to be an unstoppable force. And that leads me to the next point. We are a digital marketing organization. Let me explain to you guys that when you take on a new challenge like this and you're a first mover, there are a lot of advantages, but you can't bring an old school mentality to a new model. In other words, if we're Uber, we're not going to develop a better platform to get a taxi to your house. If we're Amazon, we're not going to develop an e-commerce platform that more efficiently stores inventories and delivers books in a brick and mortar location in the beginning. So if you're a agency building model through a new digital marketing organization with a blueprint that we have, we can't go through the old same tired ways of marketing. You're going to have to develop yourself. You're going to have to put yourself out there and get better and realize that the key to this business is through the digital marketing side, DMO. I mean, it says it right there. So yes, in the beginning, if we need to make outbound phone calls and, that helps get us past the learning curve, but ultimately we should all be moving to a new era where a lot of the marketing that we have is coming from inbound, from the stuff that we've done. People are raising their hands and say, yes, I want to talk to you about this or this. When your calendar and your day starts to fill up with a lot of inbound marketing, watch what happens with the velocity of your organization on the client and the partner side. It's not going to happen overnight, especially if you have little to no experience with digital marketing. We're here to help you, but you got to be willing to put yourself out there and take some time to create some things, test them, find what works, and then scale that. We've got some things going on in the back end. I mean, gradually as we go forward, WealthWave 360 and Virtual Financial merge more and more and more together. WealthWave's got some great stuff, and you can start to integrate that with yourself, with your virtual financial business right now. But ultimately, as we go forward, just know there's, more things in store for you that's going to give you a better opportunity to be more powerful in the marketplace. But don't wait on other people. Initiate things, initiate the changes that you need right now. Work with us, get things in place. Don't wait on the rest of the company to catch up. You be the leader in the environment. It really just all comes back to the fact that you're taking a very large industry, and the more that you can bring with our digital model, digital influence, digital marketing, it just creates more of a powerful opportunity to take more market share and more money, streamline that back down into virtual financial, which is your pocket and, your ability to accumulate assets, your ability to move over to the business ownership side with a lot of investment. So never forget, everything that the company offers, everything we offer as a team, and everything you can do for yourself and your partners on an individual basis to more geared towards the digital environment and what we're doing here as a digital marketing organization kind of throws fuel on the fire. Remember, a disruptor changes an environment or space, so it's never the same again. We talked about that. You know, when money leaves traditional and it goes to the digital, when you're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar industry, there's a lot of money on the move. But we're not going to come in here and do the same thing that a traditional agency build-out does and just say that we're digital. It's not going to work. You actually have to apply the rules to the new environment with the new model and change the way that you look at people, change the way you look at marketing, and change the way that you look at building a business. You've got to understand that digital disruption, the changes, the opportunity, the transformations that are happening create a distribution model for us that's virtual and a very large industry with all the infrastructure and partnerships that you need to scale it in the product or service. You know, product innovation cycle, e-apps nationwide, financial literacy is a big problem in this country, so there's needed advice and education. So just understand all the parts that you have and everything that the advantages that you have to put to work right now today. And if you can couple that with some things that you do on your own, you have an explosive opportunity here. And if you go out and you do what you need to do and you build this business, just understand that you're not going to run into the problem where we get to the point and say, oh, guys, we can't absorb any more growth. They can't pay out any more money. That's a big problem. So the infrastructure that goes all the way up the line, all the way back to Aegon, includes the WFG Transamerica platform, which can absorb the kind of growth that we're going to throw at it. So understand when you have all this that sets up for exponential growth, the only thing you got to do is put the wheels in motion. Everything else will take care of itself. And really, when it comes to marketing, we want to change the way we think about marketing, and we want to change the way that we actually market. And that's very important. Whether you're talking about a client or whether you're talking about a potential partner, you've got to realize you're an educator, and some of the education process will take place on the upfront marketing, and that will be something we work, you know, as a team, as individuals together on. But you're an educator, and when you start thinking like an educator, it helps you start to understand the people you're talking with and potentially start to solve problems that will get people interested in talking with you. And that's really what it's all about. If you look at somebody and you look at a potential problem that you think this target audience has, and you're able to offer solutions, you know, either one or multiple solutions that are under the veil of things like strategies, solutions, then it's going to get people interested in talking with you. And that's really what we're going to be working on. If you become a volume or a solutions-based marketer, if you become a solutions-based manager, if you become a solutions-based organization, you're going to find that by alleviating and taking care of people's problems, it will open up a great number of doors for you. We always talk about what do people really want. And yes, you know, if you go out and survey people right now, most everybody that you talk to is going to be talking about the fact that, yes, they want time freedom. Yes, they want financial freedom. Yes, they want lifestyle freedom. But that's a very blanketed, you know, approach. Yes, people want this, and you'll get a lot of conversations open. But what we want to do is we want to go further. We want to divide and conquer our audience. Who is it that we're talking to? And we talk about Gen X, baby boomers, millennials, but that's a generational divide. And we can definitely speak to those people on an individual, you know, generational standpoint. But also, am I talking to real estate agents? Am I talking to entrepreneurs? Am I talking to insurance agents? Who it is that I'm talking to? And if I was that person or I am that person, what's the problem that I'm running into right now? And your goal is really to reach prospects in the research phase and influence the purchase decision early on. Whether that purchase decision might be a business opportunity or a product, when you get in front of people in the research phase, it's a lot easier to influence their purchase decision than when you get to them close to the actual purchase decision. And really what you want to do is create a partner persona or a buyer persona. Partner persona for the business, buyer persona for the client or the product side. And what problem does your product or service solve for your target audience? If you, like we talk about, get in the habit of being able to market solutions to people's perceived problems, it's going to open up a great number of conversations for you. And then all you're going to do when you find something that works, you're just going to use these platforms to amplify your reach, get in front of more people exactly like that by cloning that original audience. Your approach to social content, you have to approach it strategically to see the most success. Don't just throw things out there blindly. Take a little time, develop some stuff, test it. When something works, it's a lot easier to scale it. If you have absolutely no or limited resources, you've got to be even more strategic in the beginning. And we help you do that, but ultimately what we want to see you do is make money in this company and do two things. Pay yourself first and invest a little bit back into a marketing campaign that can help you scale your efforts in your organization. Remember, if you're an educator and you're talking about problems and you're talking about solutions, we've got a turnkey business system. It's plug and play, it's predictable, it's profitable. Those three things right there are solutions to a problem that a lot of entrepreneurs, online business people are facing right now. A lot of network marketing companies or MLM companies, affiliate marketing, whatever you want to call it, talk to a lot of people that got to a certain point where they put their blood, sweat, and tears into the company, contract changed, company sold, went private, went out of business, whatever it might be. This is an excellent opportunity where somebody puts the effort in, they've got a longevity to this that can last a very, very, very long time. Also, when you're out there talking to people, one of the things that we talk about amongst ourselves and that we use in our marketing is the cash flow quadrant. People have to understand that you cannot trade your time for money in this economy. If you do that, ultimately, if you look at the purchasing power of wages over the past quarter century has not budged, even dropped a little bit. So if you're continuously trading time for money, you may love your job and that's fine, but you need something on a part-time basis, a business, some type of opportunity that you can produce cash flow that you can at least keep up and then get ahead over a time period. And that leads us to the linear versus leveraged income. If you go out there right now, on the streets, in marketing, physical or digital, and you're talking to people and interviewing them, there's going to be a certain percentage of people that have no idea the difference between linear and leveraged income. So these are the things that you have to understand when people are out there. Most people are financially illiterate, so we have to make sure that we understand when we're talking to people. We got to start with some basics here. And also, when you're out there marketing, you also have to understand that there is a lot of money that can be put on the move here. And when you look at this opportunity, the middle class, a lot of what we serve is critically underserved. Most people desire to be more financially fit. They just have no idea how to do it. And most people have the desire to have greater career engagement. These are things that you need to process in your mindset and understand when you're out there marketing. Look at people. Think about the potential problems that those kind of people have and offer solutions that lead back to opening conversations with you for potential partner or client reasons. And remember, you get big by staying simplistic. The old system, McDonald's that we talk about all the time. And it's very important that you understand this and people out on the open marketplace understand this. It's a big difference between growing and scaling. Growing means you're adding resources at the same rate you're adding revenue. That's what a lot of people do. On the other hand, scaling is about adding revenue at an exponential rate while only adding resources at an incremental rate. What's the point of resistance for scalability for our organization? On the partner side, it's talent. We have a talent shortage in this country for a lot of companies. We're no different. We hire. The only difference is you're willing to tie your income 100% to the revenue growth of the company. It's an excellent opportunity when you really understand it. And don't forget, when we talked a few weeks ago about opening up franchises, how much those cost, what type of a commitment that takes. Well, a digital franchise saves you a great deal of stuff. So when you're marketing, when you're looking at potential target audiences and looking at potential problems they have, digest this stuff. If you're starting a franchise, you're starting an online business, there's a lot of things that we have advantages both on the revenue as well as the expense side as well. And then compared to other businesses, you've got a lot of advantages here. So once again, what are the problems that people are facing in your target market? And when you start to retract from just blanketed marketing that you think you're going to reach everybody with a certain message and start targeting people with specific messages that resonate with them, that have them raise their hand wanting to talk to you, the gates are going to open up and you're going to get people coming in. And we always talk about this, less outbound marketing where you're initiating the initial communication, more inbound where people have been, in front of video information that you produce, video information that the company's produced, and they're saying, yes, this makes sense. I want to talk to you. Mike Hinsmark put this on I think a Tuesday, Saturday company meeting a number of weeks ago, but understand, if you're out there talking to real estate agents, and let's take the state of California right there, there's about one real estate agent for every house for sale. Does that seem like a crowded market? It does to me. Whereas when you look at, for example, just one of our markets, the upgrade market, there are millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of policies that could just be upgraded in an industry that has a few 100,000 agents. So understand when you're talking to people, how to talk to those specific types of people. Real estate agents are facing other areas of discomfort. Commissions are being shrunk. There's a lot of things that are going on with a lot of different industries that are in disruption right now. Understand that. Understand the person that's probably involved with that. Understand the problems they're probably facing. Understand how to talk to them and offer solutions. Remember, people, process, product. When you look at our business, we've got an incredible opportunity to scale something very large and one of the largest industries in the world. That should be, to a serial entrepreneur who's always sniffing out opportunity, they should be very attracted to this. But on the other side, if this is the end product that you're leading or that you're ending with in your marketing, and you're leading talking to insurance agents, real estate agents, network marketers, entrepreneurs, understand that this is all part of the solutions to their problems that you are able to effectively communicate through some marketing we're going to help you with. It's a school. You get paid to go to school. So if somebody's looking at, how do I get ahead in life? Well, yeah, you can go back to school. You can get a bachelor's degree. You can get a master's degree. I'm not sure really what that affords you. I know I had a guy that I went to college with that a few years back, he went back, got his master's degree from Rutgers and basically qualified him to, oversee some people in the credit card department of Wells Fargo. So understand what something's going to get you. If you go through our school, you earn a degree in disruption, distribution, digital marketing, and your degree could earn lifetime passive income. Also, when you're talking to people, when you are communicating on the front end of marketing or when you're directly talking to people, it's very important that you guys understand, are able to effectively communicate with the other side, some of the key parts of the contracts that we have. So how likely is it that you will receive my contract and commission compensation? Very likely. How likely is it that you will receive Mike and Chris's contract and compensation? Very likely. Same thing. How likely is it that you will receive Bill Mitchell's contract and compensation? How likely is it you can go to any other company right now, sit down for an interview and talk about receiving the CEO's contract and compensation? They would laugh you out of the office. Your contract, same as my contract, same as Mike and Chris, same as Bill's. Everybody's got the same contract, same compensation, and same opportunity here. It's a big deal. What does that mean for us in our company? It stops turnover. I'm not talking about people that come in your organization and do absolutely nothing and leave. I'm talking about the good people that come in, see this, start building. It keeps the talent in place. You don't have to leave because you're not working for anybody. They're working for themselves. They're forging their own business relationships. And don't forget, with our digital model, they're not running daycares of offices all around. They have to oversee. There's tons of places to go for personal production. But if you want to build agencies, if you want to build a cash flow asset, if you want something with an exit point, it's going to pay you and your family very, very well if you do this correctly, this is the opportunity. So how do you keep someone who's top talent? You allow them to make more money. You give them an unlimited opportunity. You don't cap their earnings. You allow them to build and foster their own business relationships, and you lock people in through ownerships. That agency ID that you get coming in is ownership on the platform. You build that, you can sell it. Now, once again, with the digital model, we basically have no fixed and variable expenses from the company side, so you're not going to want to be selling that to cash cow, but the ownership stays with you. You could sell that number, you can pass it down. There's a lot you can do with that. So this is how we keep top talent that actually comes in and asserts themselves as top talent. And don't forget, yes, we have 200 carriers, 500 products, but we're also diversified in our roles, which makes the gates open wider as to who can come in and actually build a business. Business development, lead generation, referral partners, producers, consultants, recruiters, marketers, sales team leaders, and managers. We encourage development and growth as part of our business plan. There's a lot of people in a corporate structure that has the opposite plan. They want to be, the company wants to pigeonhole them in a certain spot for a long period of time and not allow them to advance. we reward entrepreneurial and leadership development very heavily in this platform. The right people that come in that see that should be able to run with it. There's no limits here. You're not going to get to a certain point. I mean, we pointed out a new $4 million ring earner a few weeks back. If you decide that you want this and you go to work for it and let your efforts compound over a period of time, you should see an immense back-end reward from this. Cash flow, don't forget. Also, as a marketer, as you're speaking with people, understand some of the advantages. I went through when I was a stock and commodities broker, got paid once a month. It was great when I got paid, not so great on week 3.5. So there's 9 pay periods per month, advance on submission, and aggregate all products towards the bonuses. So everything counts. We don't pick and choose. Only certain stuff counts towards the bonuses. So you've got immediate cash flow, and you've got the ability that as partners come in to get that 40% on the submission of that policy. Also, when you are talking to people maybe inside the industry, a lot of these people come from a background where they're selling basically what the company produces. So manufacturing owns distribution. That's a red flag. Most firms make what they sell. You've got the ability with a broker platform to go out and do the best for your client's needs, which is really nice. Another thing, if you're talking about on marketing, partner, client side, whatever it might be, even people that have worked in this industry for years, I realized that, most people are concerned about money matters. Very few truly understand how money works. So if you don't learn how money works, you'll spend the rest of your lives working for money. So that's an A or B choice. You want to learn how money works, or you want to spend the rest of your life working for money. It's A or B. Which one do you want? So these are problems. These are solutions that we can all talk about in our marketing. Getting rich is not a fantasy. Most people never, give getting rich even a consideration as a possibility. They just don't think about it. So the inverse of that is what people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. 3/4 of the people live paycheck to paycheck. 50% have no money for retirement. Almost 50% don't have $400 for an emergency. People don't know how to make money. Fewer people know how to keep it, and almost no one knows how to multiply it. Your mission for financial literacy is a very important one. So don't discount that. Yes, you have an excellent opportunity to build a business, digital business, a lot of advantages, a lot of scalability to it. However, what you're doing for the client side is very, very needed. And we always talk about this. If somebody doesn't have $400 for an emergency, how in the world are they going to withstand severe income disruption, new expenses from these typical medical events that are hitting a lot of Americans on a daily basis? Also, when you're out there talking to people, understand people are setting themselves up and their children and their families to accept less, do without, make sacrifices, deal with it. Instead, we want to start teaching the public, or if it's ourselves and our kids as well, anything is possible with hard work. Be committed to seeing something through. Create your own future. Once again, this is an A or B kind of end result. Either A, the person you're talking to is going to accept the life that they're given as is, or they're going to start to create the life they actually want. And this will help you as you talk to people if they can understand these basic philosophies and understand they don't have to deal with what they're dealing with right now forever if they're willing to change. We've got an excellent business opportunity with a lot of seasoned people in this platform that can help them. Consumer financial concerns. Greg Ludwig always talks about this during his presentations. There's 3 things that can happen: die too soon, become ill, live too long. So can you use your life insurance while you're still alive? There are tens of millions of policies that need to be upgraded. If you open enough conversations, if you develop enough marketing that's talking to these specific types of people in a way that resonates with them, that once again has them raise their hand and say, yes, I want to talk to you about this, you're going to nail this digital marketing environment. And one of the things that you need to understand is, yes, it's got great benefits to it, but one of the benefits is the power of the pricing. When you look at, piecing all of this together, cancer policies, disability policies, long-term care with a traditional life policy versus one policy, all-inclusive, that covers all of that, it's A, not so many debits to juggle out of a checking account, not so much of a financial commitment, and it's one policy. So this is a lot easier for us to get the message across, your client, your potential client, to absorb the message in a meaningful way, digest it. If they have questions, those are buying questions, you answer those in a clear, concise, articulate way, you're off to the races with this upgrade market. Or on the other hand, if it's new insurance, A or B, you can put all this together in a basket, or I can give you one product that covers everything. Which sounds better to you, Mr. and Mrs. Client? And if you're not doing a full F&A, just remember you do need some basic information. Now, if somebody's just looking to upgrade a traditional term, that that you pretty much got everything that you need. But if they need their situation reevaluated, or they're looking for new insurance, you do need basic information. So you can come up with at least a roundabout target number. Are they married? Does the spouse work? Are there kids in the house? Do they rent or own? Do they have an existing life insurance? If so, what do they have? If they were unable to work for a period of time, how much money do they need on a monthly basis to sustain the current standard of living they have right now with zero disruption? And usually, one talking point that will open the conversation is, what's the main reason for looking for life insurance? I started looking for life insurance when I had a kid. It actually led me to this company. So that'll get the conversation going. They might have bought a new house. They might have had a kid, might have just left the job, lost group term insurance, whatever it might be. And 7, I've got starred. You don't want to put too much in front of somebody at one time. You're going to open a relationship that will hopefully be long-standing. But, you want to also find out through the course of the conversation, do they have anything saved for retirement? Because that's some of the things you can help them out with as well. Guys, when you look at anything in life, success really demands 5 things: hard work, sacrifice, struggle, faith, and patience. That's the recipe here. A lot of this stuff, is personal defects that we have on an individual basis. And then we have to overcome that in the process of overcoming the business obstacles. So there are personal obstacles and there are business obstacles. Either one can slow you down. Either one can make you quit. Just realize you have to overcome things on both sides. We can help you on both, especially the business. We can steer you in the right direction on the personal side, but obviously that's got to be a conversation you have with yourself. Self-inventory, what's going right with me, what's going wrong, and let's just have an honest inventory about what's happening. And, David always talks about this. The skill set of having discomfort in your life is a huge advantage. You can't skip the steps to success. You can't come in here and think you're going to use the same mentality, the same type of things you've been doing for X years before and think it's going to work. You have to be willing to change. It's a process. Trust the process. A lot of it's uncomfortable in the beginning, but just know that most of the growth comes outside your comfort zone. So if you're going to stay in your comfort zone, expect to get, the results from staying in that comfort zone. If you're willing to put yourself out there, trip over yourself, try some new things, you're going to find that over time, that puts you in a very advantageous position over people that are only willing to do the things they're comfortable with. Momentum doesn't matter. Marketing, conversations, recruiting, sales, tier activity, just like money compounds, so does activity. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Success is a group activity. Don't let negative people bring you down. Surround yourself with people that you want to be with. Like I always say, when you're talking to people, evaluate them. Is this somebody that would want to hang around at a cocktail party, sit beside at a dinner? If so, probably makes a good partner. Even if they have the greatest skill set, the greatest vision, but you just can't stand to be around them, probably not going to make a good partner. It's going to drag on both of you guys, and it's not going to be something that ends up, in a positive outcome. And I'll leave you guys with this. No matter where you are right now, if you've been in a day, year, 2 years, no matter where you are, you want to start thinking like you have a big organization. You want to think like you have nationwide distribution of financial services. You want to think like you're executive vice chairman. Skate to where the puck's going to be. Don't skate to where the puck is now. So everything that you put into place, remember, if it's something that might work for a team of 10 or 15, but it's not going to work for a team of 500, start to alternate it, because you want to put things in place that as you scale, you're not going to have to change your approach or any of the structure that you already have in place. The structure that you put in place right now should be able to absorb a lot of growth going forward. So that is what we got for today, guys. I will open up the floor for questions.
Wow, another really great training by Mike Amos. Thank you so much, Mike. And again, if you all missed David Chase's training, it was really, really good on Saturday. So catch the beginning and the middle, or the beginning and the end for that. Anyways, let me go ahead and stop the recording and we'll open up the floor.